Hey guys, it's been a long time since I last uploaded a video. So today I'm going to show you how to configure your PCSX2 emulator version 1.2.1 for NVIDIA GT-740m 64-bit to get max out of it, or max performance and for the best graphics. Now, first of all, we need to download the PCSX2 emulator version 1.2.1. If there is a latest version available of that, then you can download it, but not go for the older version because those may be slower. Now go to their official website, that is our PCSX2.net. Go to the downloads option and to the releases page, and you will find various options like Windows, Linux, and so on. Because I'm using Windows, go to the Windows and you will have this page. Download it. Don't go for these two. As you can see here, these are fakes. Advertisement. Go to this option. This is the official download button. Now after downloading, I think you know how to download and install the applications. So you will have PCSX2 in your system. As you can see, I'm using 1.2.1. It is the latest one. Now when you launch it for first time, you will be displayed with this screen. Actually this one, BIOS. I won't be giving you the links to the BIOS, or I think you have to dump it manually, or you can Google it. I would recommend you use the USA's version 2.20. Okay, after that, when you press OK, you will be displayed with this screen. Now all these plugins are just fine, don't mess with them. The main one is this graphics plugin. Here are various versions of these plugins. As you can see, these two are just for debugging purposes, don't mess with them. Alright, now from here to this point, as you can see, all the main name of all these plugins is same, GSTX0, but in brackets you can see the instruction set. So I would recommend you to use the latest instruction set if your processor supports it. That means, for example, as you can see is SSE3 and SSE4. So from these two, the SSE4 one would be better. It is the latest version, but the latest processors support almost all plugins. And so for the fourth generation Intel processors and the upcoming fifth generation or present fifth generation and latest processor, I would recommend to use AVX2, as my processor is also 4th gen Maxwell processor which supports AVX2. It would be fastest. And for the others, you would Google about your processor and find out which type of instruction set is supported by your processor and select according to that. So the latest instruction set means most performance. So for my Intel processor i5, I would be using AVX2. Now to the configuration tab, it's important. Listen carefully. Now for the adapter, go with the default hardware device. Don't go for particular graphic card option, because it will only use that for emulation. If you are using the default hardware, then it will use your all hardware as a single unit that includes processor plus GPU, I think. So it would be best. Now to the driver option, I would recommend you to use DTD11 hardware. If your computer supports DirectX 11, it would be fastest. If you don't support DirectX 11, then go with the 9. Alright, as you can begin, but as you can see, for DirectX 9, they have a bit the interface is almost same, but it will be slower. Now go to the DirectX 11. As you can see here, we have the DT3 internal resolution, which means the game's internal resolution at which the game will draw its pixels. Now you can use the native option. That means the game will use the native resolution programmed within the game to run, or you can use the super sampling 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x. I would recommend you to go with 2x, 2x, it's fine, and our GPU can easily handle this one. But you can go to 3x, 4x, 6x, it's up to you. I have used up to 4x for Naruto Ultimate Ninja 5 and I wasn't facing any lags, and I didn't try more than 4x. Maybe I can go more further with that game, and I've used 3x with God Hand, but it may sometimes drop the frames by 2-3 frames, and in PS2 the droppage of 2 or 3 frames is huge, because PS2 and PC's functioning has a big difference. I will explain that later. Now for our GT-740m, I think it is best. To the enable shade boost, FXA, enable FX, it's up to you if you want to enable these settings. But as per my knowledge, without these our games runs pretty fine. We don't need to enable these. Using super sampling is fine. It will increase the textures crispiness and reduce the aliasing effect almost to zero, and it is fine. So we don't need to enable manual anti-aliasing and another effects. And for the texture mode, hardware mode, the texture blending will add more crispiness to your graphics. It is good to enable it. And allowing 8-bit textures will also improve the speed of some games. And enable hardware, it is important one. You can go to here. First of all, for NVIDIA use, that is us, yo. Use NVIDIA hack. As you can see the description, this is hack to work around problems with current NVIDIA drivers causing or stretching problems in DirectX 11 only when using upscaling. Yes, that's right. I was facing this problem. I was very mad. I couldn't find any solution and so on. But this hack, I think, removed this scaling problem and stretching problem with my god hand and glitches. I know. First of all, at first I thought, I don't know how those glitches were removed from my game, but I know now this was the setting. But it didn't help me with my Naruto Ultimate Ninja 5. That has a big problem with NVIDIA cards. That has all these problems, stretching problems and glitches and graphical glitches and blah blah blah, another problems which cannot be resolved. I don't know why this enabling this option didn't solve that either, and playing that at native resolution didn't seem to solve that. But I have read at some form playing at native uh, would remove that problem, but I don't know why this didn't work with. I think that's game's problem. You can use MSA, but I won't recommend you. It will be wasting your frames and processing power because you are using upscaling, and that's most beautiful. Now to this option, skip draw. At first, when I first launched my PCSX2 and launched my Godhead, I was very happy, but I, I had to face the hard fact of the reality. That was I was facing too much lags when I used upscaling with the game, and without upscaling, the game's graphics were, oh man, like shit. So I googled hard and accidentally came across a site where someone posted a picture of the Godhead game with NVIDIA GPU. I was very lucky to find that website. I don't know how I stumbled across that website, but I finally found that site, and that person was using, I think, GTX 600 or 700 version of the graphics card, and he was using 4x upscaling, super sampling, and he was getting around 120 frames without frame limiter, and he was using skip draw 10. Actually, what does this option do is permanently removes the frames which are causing some errors and glitches, which means enabling this option means I'm skipping 10 frames from the game. But it is fine, it doesn't cause any glitches or problems for my games, so it is the optimal setting for our GTX 1040m. As you can see, anisotropic filtering, that is 69. It is also increase the crispiness of textures, and for our modern GPUs, yeah, my GT-740m 64-bit, this is just as free because all the modern GPUs can implement it at max, that is 16x, without any loss of frames. So enable it, and to this option, as you can see, extra rendering threads. This is the number of threads we can assign to the PCSX2. I don't know what this actually, if it increases the performance or not. I have used it at default it will be at 1. I use it at 1 and 4 and 3 at and so, but I don't think I ever faced or have seen any major difference between the performance, but I can evaluate more for more than 5 and 6 and so on. I don't know how, but I never tried it beyond 4 because my processor only supports 4 threads. So it's a request to the users who are using 3 core or quad core or octa core processor and having more threads to try more threads and check if this improves the performance of the game, and let us know. It would be helpful for all of the users. Now, edge anti-aliasing, this is an experimental thing, so I won't recommend you to use this because using super sampling is fun. It will give you beautiful graphics. Okay, To the next step, this was the most important. Now to the next step, we are going to the ammunition setting. It's important. As you can see here, we are introduced with these 6 options. So moving on to the first one, use these settings. These are perfectly fine with all computers, and yes, these are recommended settings. As you know, compilers are faster than interpreters, and blah blah. So for views is the same, and I think these will be by default selected. But I read across the net there were some users who were facing some problems with these settings, so they tweaked these settings and were having fine results. But if you are having some problems and you want to tweak these settings, then go to PCSX2's official site and read the guide. They have a very good guide, an elaborated one. You can find it. You can do this. So I have done the same thing to understand how to configure it. Now to the GS. Don't mess with these settings, these are fine. Don't disable the frame limiter. As I said before, the PS2 and PC, both systems have different meaning of frames and a big difference between both functioning. Now as you can see, for example, if your PS2 game is programmed to work at 50 frames or 60 frames. For example, we are taking an example 60 frames. Alright, our game is programmed to work at 60 frames, but if we are having some frame lags, say 10 frames, 5 frames, or even 2 or 3 frames, it would be like playing the game in slow motion. Everything will be slow motion, including your gameplay sounds, because at PS2 every thread, every resource including sound is set to work at 50 fps. So means reduced frames means playing the game at half speed or less speed, and increasing frame is also true for that. If your game is to work at 60 frames and you are say getting more than 60 frames like 70, 62, 65 or 100 frames, and you disable frame rating, you would be playing game like in fast motion, fast forward, yeah, like this. Now so this was that. And don't mess with these settings. These are to skip the frames. If you're having very big lags, then you can use this option, but I don't recommend you to, because it may introduce glitches. And so, but our GT-740m works fine with everything I have selected here. I'm proud of my graphic card. Yo, to the GS window, as you can see here is also again the window settings, and at that point here, path selector, we were having again a window screen. So what is the difference between these two is that here we are tweaking with the actual display of the game, means the display at which the game will draw its pixels. So these are resource consuming and processing power consuming, because we are messing with the actual display of the game. But here this is this is the window or size of the window at which we want to watch the game, means the output window. So it doesn't matter. So you can select the aspect ratio of the game, fit to screen 4:3:16:3. It's up to you how you want to watch your game, and so on. So don't mess with these. Now up to the speed hacks. These are for the users who are facing lags in their games, but for general GT740 and 64-bit users, I don't think we will be facing any lags, and so it is fine. And I can play these all the games I have without these speed hacks, but I enable them as per backup policy and insurance policy. So as you can see, enable these three. These are recommended. These two, sorry, these two you can see here recommended. These won't do anything to your game. Enable this one too. As you can see, they have written not recommended, but that doesn't matter. Enabling fast CD DVD boot will reduce the loading time. This one is recommended. You can use it. MVU hack, it will increase the game speed. But this one, MTVU, using meaning enabling multi-threading for PCSX2. As you can see here, they won't recommend you, and it may cause lags if you're having a dual core or 3 cores processor, but I never faced any type of lag. I don't know why. Maybe I was lucky. And so it is basically for more than 3 cores, that is for quad core or octa core processors. And if you're still facing some lags, you can use this setting it will increase it up to 33%. That means increase in emulation speed by 33% and is recommended, but you can go to 50% if you want. It may cause little bit of glitches, but I never faced them. Okay, and you can tweak with this slider also if you want to increase the frames, if you want to increase the game speed if you're having some lags. But before that, read the guide at PCSX2's site. Okay, now the next tab, don't enable game fixes, manual game fixes, if you don't know what you are doing and how to work around them. Instead, I would recommend you to go to system settings, enable automatic game fixes, and enable these cheats if you want to use cheats as just for insurance policy, and enable widescreen patches. Now we are done with this and time for a little bit of gameplay. I will be playing my favorite game, God Hand 2. God Hand 1, sorry. God Hand 2 never came to the existence, and no, I'm very sad because it never came. So, as you can see, this is my output window, which I defined in emulation strain. Now I'm going with the first strain, that is this. As per your knowledge, I'm using PAL video that so my frames for this game is 50 frames, and if you are seeing any glitches or lags or some other problems in output video, then let me tell you, these are just due to my recording software's problems and not my game is working fine with recording now, and it's so good.
Ow, that fat moron.
Yeah, it's time for some ass kicking. Yeah, a little bit of spanking to teach your manners, and now yo. Now time to teach your manners. Oh yeah! Know your place. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. That's it, friends. Good day and hard gaming. See you later.